very like this one is social proof based. A lot of native ads, especially for the 60 plus demographic, will be social proof based. And this one is kind of weird, intriguing, direct response based. So we have the problem on one side, the solution on the other. This is typically how they structure their hero images, and then creating some intrigue with this red circle. Usually they'll add a red arrow and you can't fully see what the product is or understand it. So I'll just go over the lead of both of these products and then I'll scan through the structure that they're using for their advertorial and what angle they're really going for here. So for years, I suffered with terrible knee pain. So immediately it's a first person perspective. It's not from the perspective of the brand. They're taking on the perspective of eventually a consumer. So it eventually becomes a testimonial, but it's just kind of a hero's journey of someone who had the problem, who suffered, who tried everything, and then they're recommended the product. That's the main angle of this advertorial here. And this is very effective on Facebook, especially for these health products, is the angle of someone who had the problem. So you identify with the customer, you agitate the problem. So in this case, the agitation is that they've gained weight. They're not being able to exercise properly. You agitate it with a real life example. For back pain, it could be that you lost your job or you can't spend time with your spouse or your kids. Something emotional. If you're going for this angle, again, it's pretty aggressive to go for this like emotional agitation. And then they tried everything. So this is the next step, right? So the problem, you identify with the prospect, you agitate it, again, identifies with them, and then they try other solutions. So you don't want to do too much agitation because then you'll lose them. So you want to continue the story. So first, after the agitation and you build that tension, then they try new solutions, but nothing works. They're inconvenient, they're expensive, etc. And then the social proof, trusted source recommendation comes in. My friend spent thousands of dollars and they found this new solution. This is, I mean, they've used this multiple times. Aussie Home has used this multiple times. You have this like Facebook image where a friend is reaching out and they found some new solution, some new miracle product that fixes the problem. And then the person is skeptical, they try them out. Okay, yeah, so they kind of pause the story for a second now, and then they're going to go into the mechanism. Um, this is the root cause of the problem. The patella prime stops knee pain because it treats the root cause of the problem. So this is a very effective structure to use for your product mechanism introduction. It starts like this. For years, I thought the root cause was X. So in this case, I thought it was just getting older. And then they also back it up. That's why you see all sorts of arthritis supplements being sold claiming to cure knee pain. But to my surprise, they say the real root cause of knee pain is a knee joint that's not in proper alignment. So there's the problem mechanism. They don't give it a specific name. They just explain it as a concept. And then they dive a little bit deeper. What does this do? It puts additional strain on the delicate tissues in the knee. And the result is inflammation and unnecessary wear and tear. So realigning the knee joint reduces the strain. So I thought it was this. It turns out this is the actual root cause. This is what that means and what it does in your body. And this is what happens when you solve it. So realigning the knee reduces the strain on the soft tissue and allows inflammation to go down. So this is kind of the full circle of the problem mechanism. And it's kind of making a promise in the frame of what happens when you solve the problem mechanism. The wear and tear will slow down rapidly and allow your body to catch up and heal. What makes the patella prime so effective in aligning the knee joint to stop knee pain? And then it's just explaining the functioning of the product, the solution mechanism. It supports the three most important areas of the knee. And then it goes into the close. So in this case, yeah, so this is where it wraps up the story. I couldn't believe how quickly the pain went down in my knees. So I asked my physical therapist to explain what makes the patella prime so effective. So what one thing that's effective about this advertorial is that they're bringing in people, right? They bring in the friend to recommend the product. That eases skepticism rather than if the first person, speaker found the product themselves. So the friend gives the product, and then the physical therapist explains the solution. And then it goes into the close. So why are they selling out so fast? They don't really explain why they're selling out so fast, but it's an effective headline, and then it goes into just benefits and promises. It's the perfect solution for knee pain. If you have XYZ, so it qualifies everyone with knee issues. It restates the solution mechanism, and then a testimonial. a summary of all the features, a restatement of the entire premise. So social proof, people are experiencing it thanks to the product, and then these are the benefits you're going to get. And notice that now the CTAs are available. Before, there's no sticky button. There's just a few hyperlinked. So there's one here and one here, and then it goes into the CTA. So they don't let you click through until you've read into the article, which I do recommend everyone does. And that's something to test. Sometimes you can have the sticky button come right away, and sometimes you force them to read more into it. And then why are they so discounted? And then it's a basic close. So this is a very simple close, but this can easily be replicated. It is pretty aggressive in terms of the copy and the angle that they're taking here. And it is problem focused. So if you go through this whole lead and all the other subheads, it's focused mostly on the problem until about halfway through, and then it switches to the solution, which is very different from this advertorial that's at a much higher scale, by the way, going after a different audience on a different platform. So for the Ortho shoes, they're going after the promise angle. So it's a lower level of market sophistication, right? They're going after the promise of getting rid of your foot pain with these miracle shoes. And then it's a very simple, straightforward, to the point lead. Do you struggle with foot pain? Are the activities you like doing feel impossible to do now? So you might notice this is a much more like kind of toned down copy, less sophisticated, less aware market. And that's the thing with native is that there's less targeting. So you have to go for the lowest common denominator to have the highest scale possible in most of these cases. If you go too targeted, like hyper targeted copy, it's going to be very hard to find those profitable placements on native at a high scale. So in this case, they're going for a pretty broad approach, and they just have a very effective advertorial structure that captures a lot of traffic from their approach. So it's a similar structure. Do you struggle with pain? They agitated are the activities you used to like doing feeling more impossible. It is also a first person perspective. I've experienced pain, and this is targeted towards women, as you can see from the 3 women here. In the rest of their testimonials, it's women, and then it's identifying my husband is seeing my frustration and trying his best to be positive. So they're going after women 60 plus on native and taking this pretty straightforward approach. It's an issue that can't be ignored, so building some urgency. And if you ignore it, the effects will only get worse over time. Specific information. This is kind of like the giddy up style advertorial. Very informational, not as emotional. Although they do get pretty emotional in this lead. Your body will collapse if the foundation is in pain or it breaks. Does this scare you? And then it immediately, so that's the peak of their tension that they're building through the agitation, and then they switch. You're able to permanently end your foot pain and enjoy 100% natural relief because of this new invention called comfort wear. So this is mostly a text-focused advertorial, and they're comparing it to alternative solutions. Some emotional selling without foot pain. Wouldn't you be able to appreciate all of life's beautiful moments so much more? So they introduced the product very quickly, whereas Healthy Lab Co takes a little bit more time, and then they're much more straightforward with the promises, the features, etc. They're a lot less emotional, in my perspective, in my opinion. And then it's just explaining the features. It qualifies all of these people. Everyone who has foot issues can benefit from this. And then the mechanism is very simple. It's not as mechanistic in the copy. It straightens and realigns every step. And it does that with innovative insoles to provide cushioning and arch support. So it doesn't go super in depth into the reason why, compared to if you look at an advertorial like Neuro or some of the Aussie Home, or yeah, some of other Paul's other brands, they're more mechanistic, more informational. In this case, it's a lot more straightforward. The selling message is much more straightforward. And again, it's because they're going after a much broader audience. Yeah, it's very simple copy, very straightforward. It will help strengthen your feet, gently realign your feet's muscles, bones, and ligaments, and they do all the work for you. It's not a temporary remedy. They're intended to permanently eliminate foot pain. It's a pretty bold claim. And based on positive testimonials, they obviously work. And then it's social proof. What kind of people are using it? Nurses, construction workers, more testimonials. And there's the close. So they go into the return policy, less than a 2% return rate. It's pretty much their guarantee right there. And then where can you buy them? The only place you can buy, and this is important, both of these advertorials. Let me find it. Where do I get authentic Patella Pro? So this is when you want to capture everyone that otherwise would click and shop around in other places. Oftentimes, the simplest way to do that is that you just say it straight up. The only place to get the real product is from our official website. And they do the same thing here. The only place you can buy real comfort shoes is their website. And then they do step 1, 2, 3. This is very, if you're going after 60 plus, I always recommend doing this. Walk them through your funnel, through the buying process. That just eases a lot of skepticism. The more clearly they can see the buying process, the simpler it is for them, the more likely they are to buy. Especially with these complex funnels, sometimes it can turn off some of these 60 plus demographic, and explaining the buying process to them is very effective. In Gundry MD's VSLs, they always do a screen share edit where they're showing the buying process. You're going to the checkout, putting in your information, all this stuff. And that is pretty effective. And then a very basic product page. And this is the typical DFO style product page with the checkout, the bundles, buy one, get one free is the offer that they're doing. And then 2 order bumps. Okay, so they have an upsell in the cart, and yeah, very basic. And then automatic package protection and another upsell in the checkout. I guess I can't remove them. All right, well, that's a summary of these 2 funnels, these 2 advertorials. I'm going to share them inside of school so you can take a look at them. But yeah, it's different approaches, right? On native, you'll always see, no, not always, most of the time you'll see people taking a more general and broad approach in their copy and in their marketing. And on Facebook, it's a lot more specific. And that comes down to the way those 2 platforms do their targeting. On Facebook, the targeting is extremely specific. You can target individual people, whereas on native, those of you who have advertised on native know that the targeting, you're not targeting people, you're targeting placements. So which websites will my ad go on? So you have to be more broad. You can't be as as specific